There was a scandal that rocked the DFS industry recently. Some porno popping up on, just a casual old NBA DFS stream. But luckily, we got boots on the ground here to tell us what exactly happened. Also, a bunch of sports betting topics as usual. There's influencers boxing each other in Las Vegas. Just the classic Lulz fare. I'm Pete with Brick, and we got our guest, Greg Ehrenberg from Stokastic. Let's do it.
Does he think? I think he thinks this. He thinks this is a go. Vegas Dave thinks this is a go.
Hot naked girls doing yoga.
What?
Why don't you just win like a man?
Random.org. Type in 1 for yes, 2 for no, and let the DFS gods pick for you.
And I'm absolutely begging you not to dupe us. Please don't dupe us.
All right, Greg, yesterday or Tuesday, I was doing the Swolecast. I normally do some jokes at the top of the show, and a few people were just could not believe I didn't talk about what happened over at Stokastic. And I didn't know about it. And I saw a few tweets. I did a little digging. I'm still very hazy on exactly what happened. Can you give the people the lowdown here once and for all?
Sure. So also, Brian, are you aware at all of what happened?
I mean, I pieced it together from Twitter. I wasn't watching playback at the time, but I think I do. Why don't you inform me?
Okay, so we do our live before lock show, which is on YouTube, and now we have a companion show that we do on playback. If you guys aren't familiar with playback, number one, you should be watching the show we do each night, especially if we play NBA DFS, because we're getting people updated on the news that breaks post lock, new starting lineups, ownership updates, projection updates, all of that. So we do a post-lock show after live before lock. It's usually Josh Engelman and I. We stick around for an hour plus and just react to whatever games are going on. Also on playback, you could actually show the games on screen while you're doing a stream. So it's like YouTube, but you can have the basketball games that we're watching and sweating on screen with us. So the viewers log into their NBA accounts, and then they're able to watch the games with us in real time. So that's a little bit of a setup.
NBA is one of the only league, because we did this for a spell for the tilt space with NFL, and then they rugged the NFL out for it. And it is an awesome way to do content, watch. I'm still bummed that can't do it with other sports, really.
So they do have, not to side rail this too much, but they just added baseball. So we're going to be doing baseball with them next week. And I know their plan is to ultimately have all sports on the platform. That's like the end game product to bring a tie into Brian and everything here. That's the end game of playback, is to have all of that involved. So that's what we do on playback. And what happened on playback is essentially the short version. I won't give you guys all the details because I want to get you guys to react and maybe make some guesses on what you think happened. Somebody took over our stream. So Josh and myself, we're talking basketball. We're waiting for Nikola Jokic news. He's questionable. Jamal Murray's questionable. So it's a big show. We've got like 1,300 concurrent viewers at the time. All of a sudden, I get kicked off the stream. Josh gets kicked off the stream. It no longer says Stokastic / Odd Shopper at the top. There's a picture of Adolf Hitler, who's not a good person at all. So right away, all right, red flag to begin with. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because I invite myself back on the stream. I immediately get kicked off again. Then all of a sudden, I don't have access to the stream at all. And then porn starts playing. Now it starts as heterosexual porn, just classic. You got a lady, you got a guy, he's doing his business. And chat is going crazy at this point because we've got all our bits from live before lock. So now people are like, oh, is this the lotion play of the night? Oh, guys, this is the nuke of the night. Chat's hilarious. And it's going crazy. And then it takes a turn. It's no longer heterosexual porn playing. It's now flipped to gay porn. And
now people are really pissed.
So now some people are upset. Some people are erect. There's all kinds of nonsense going on in the chat. People are confused. And then Jokic gets ruled out in the midst of all this as well. So there's also people sticking around who are like, what do we do with our lineups? What happens with Nikola Jokic? So what is one of the funniest parts of this entire thing to me. So obviously most of the people start to leave at a certain point once they realize, hey, this might not be them that are operating the stream at this point. I send out a tweet that we're hacked, and we're trying to get the channel back and then I'm going to go live. I was able to get in contact with the guys at Playback. They were able to get to the bottom of the issue and they got us the channel back. I go back on and I'm able to break down the Jokic thing. There were still like 200 some people that had stuck around for 30 minutes to get the Jokic update, which I thought was just hilarious because you get people who it's like, all right, at what point they watch like 30 minutes of gay porn to try to get their Nikola Jokic and Denver Nuggets news, which I don't know if they think like maybe the pizza guy is going to come in and he's going to tell us who to swap to in DFS, or I'm just going to pop back up. Maybe I'll be in the scene and tell them what to do. But eventually I come back on. I was able to give people the update and I stuck around for like 45 minutes later than I normally would. So that's more or less what ended up happening.
Of those 200 viewers, I guess there's 3 categories that they could fall into. Stokastic true fans, they're going to be with you guys through any kind of programming shifts. Lovers of gay porn, that would be the second group, or the Venn diagram, Stokastic diehards who also happen to love gay porn. Which those 3 do you think they fall into?
Well, I think it's also worth noting that there's not a lot of diversity in the DFS and betting space. And I think it's good that we're able to add a little bit of that. And who knows, maybe there was somebody who was watching who was like, you know what? I didn't know, but now maybe like I found this interesting. Maybe that's why some people stuck around. They were like, you know what, this isn't all that bad. And they just stuck around. And now maybe we've opened people's eyes up a little bit as well. As far as the people who watched that show, which I think this is kind of what you're asking, it's mostly the diehard fans of Live Before Lock who stick around. We don't have like a lot of organic viewers to the Playback show. It's all traffic that comes directly from us.
Yeah, there was a couple tweets here. Because I went and saw. I found the original tweet when you guys tweeted, Playback Live with Josh and Greg, NBA starting lineups, news and EV bets. There was one guy, Steven Spielgirth, and he was very upset. And he said he was watching with his children, and they could hear and they see this. And he also had his own conspiracy theory that Josh Engelman's actions made him look very guilty. It was clear that he noticed the mistake he made and quickly left, leaving his coworker stranded. I feel bad for Greg. Can you explain this dynamic of Josh ditching you during your time of need?
So what happened? So in reality, what happened is Josh got booted by the hacker before I was. But I like the conspiracy angle that was Josh all along. Maybe it was one of Eric's home videos and like he was still sticking around and accidentally did a screen share. There's been all kinds of conspiracies that have gone on. That guy was one who threw out a conspiracy theory, but also want to hear from you guys what you think actually happened. And then I'll tell you guys the actual story.
Mike has a motive. Rob here. One may think it was a good marketing effort.
Oh,
okay, that's possible motivation.
Yeah.
Pete, you did a little Freudian slip at the beginning of the show. You accidentally said shop. And I'm thinking maybe they're going odd shopper to porn shopper. They're making a pivot, and they're just kind of test the waters. Maybe they watched our episode where we talked about naked yoga and got like 5,000 extra views. And they're like, this shit works, man. We got to do something here.
What if, I don't know, man, like, the Sim Wars are really starting to heat up, Stokastic, we talk about the solver, we got in-game syndicate with Run the Sims. I mean, maybe Brian could potentially be a suspect trying to submarine a product that is, for all intents and purposes, a competitor at this point. Brian, where were you that evening?
I don't have the skills. So if anyone in the endgame world is going to be responsible, I think you got to look at Nerdy Tenor, honestly.
I have a technical question, Greg, with Get Playback, because I've done it before too, where you tap in and you sync it with your cable thing. Like, I wouldn't have even thought gay porn would have been a potential channel that you could even be streaming on there. Like, what channel was it?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways that you could show different stuff on screen in Playback. One of it is through the NBA League Pass, where you just pick a game like a TV channel and it goes up on the screen. The other thing too, though, is you could just screen share. So you could throw anything on the internet up there that you wanted to. So whatever this person's browser site of choice was. They were like, this is the one, and they're like, here are the videos that are in my my search list to throw up on screen. So yeah, you could really put anything on screen there with the screen share.
Well, also, what about this? So he said it started with a like Hitler reference or something. So Greg is Jewish, and everyone thinks Josh is Jewish, even though he's not. So
his last name.
I think maybe that could be like a throw him off the scent, lead. Like of course Greg Ehrenberg would never Hitler vote. Oh, this is ridiculous, sir.
And also, Greg, we've seen a lot, this will happen, right? A celebrity, like some salacious images posted, they run and say they were hacked. I mean, traditionally, the Occam's razor here would for me to ask who has access to the get playback Stokastic password. Like who are the people that have the keys to this in the beginning?
Yeah. So do you want me to reveal what actually happened, or should we keep putting it off?
No, I'm liking this foreplay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you, there wasn't much foreplay in the videos we watched. They were right to the action. They were right to the action, and it picked up right in the middle of it as well. So yeah, it's nice to lean into it a little bit. Yeah, I could see, especially somebody who doesn't know the story could be a little bit confused if this is when they end up popping into it.
The car. We're priming the pump. You're gonna get a nice payoff here.
And but I should say also announcing my OnlyFans account. That's the reason that I came on here today. So the people who have access to it so there's different levels of access. There's people who could actually control the stream. Those are called creators, and those are the like myself, Josh, the people you'll see on stream. Some of the producers that we've had,
suspect list.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are the people that actually have control of the stream. And then there's other people as well that are called contributors. So that would be like, guys like Spags, DK, DFS that pop in and do shows for us from time to time, but they're not, like scheduling YouTube events or anything along those lines. So those are like the different tiers of people who have some form of access to playback.
Okay.
I think that's a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys.
I should also ask, Greg, have you and Josh, like outside of random internet trolls, have you had any enemies lately that you could identify, people who you've gone after publicly? Have you guys anything that could, narrow down the suspect list for us?
More than I could count. Most of them people I don't know. So there could be, numerous people that I've made fun of or trolled on Twitter that could have been behind this, or somebody I made fun of in the playback because they said something stupid or whatever. But the answer to your question is more people than I can remember.
Neil says, I knew it was Spags. It would seem like a Spags-like thing. Maybe he goes to Stokastic, says he needs a raise for his freelancing. He gets shot down and he goes, fuck it. I'm blowing up this entire joint on the way out with some gay porn.
He's not putting the Hitler thing on there, though. That's
true.
That's too
true.
much.
That's where he draws the line.
Yeah, I think he draws the line at Hitler. It could be also like the company. Someone from the company, right? Someone from the, in Ethan Gate situation, that's always a possibility. The motivation, there's got to be a decent amount of people who hate Stokastic personalities because they took a play and it didn't work out, and everything's supposed to be 100% guaranteed, so we hate you. But usually those people don't have the skill sets to pull something like this off.
Is there two-factor authentication on the get playback login, Greg?
No. It is very, very easy.
So you could figure out a password and get on there.
My next question, was the password, did it end up being something strikingly obvious like Stokastic or Osimo? Was it, did we have at least a variety of characters in the password?
So I will say it was easy for them to get in for a particular reason, but it's not because they were able to guess a password.
Okay. All right. I guess as we are circling it, did this end up being someone you guys knew?
It's sort of a trick question that you will understand why when I give you the actual answer.
Oh, God, I love this so much.
Does the person's name rhyme with Staker?
I don't know the actual
Alex?
person's name.
Snaker.
As of right now, do you guys have were you able to get the account back on your own accord, or did Get Playback have to like boot this person and reset all of your credentials?
Yes. So Playback had to step in, my contact there. I messaged him. I was panicking for numerous reasons. I was panicking. I was panicking at this point for a handful of reasons, and immediately reached out to my contact there, and he responded to me right away and was able to, within like 30 minutes, he was able to get our channel back, boot the person out who was responsible, and kind of reset everything.
What has there been? What kind of internal conversations took place at Stokastic? Is this happening? Was it like, shit, we need to do kind of a little PR here to like smooth things over? Are we going to try to sweep this under the rug? Oh fuck, Greg's going on lulls. Like what's going on behind the scenes?
Not all that much. I think it was mostly me sending panicked messages to people and people more being like, this will be okay. And then also people understanding that this was not anything that like anybody at our company did maliciously. It wasn't attached to anybody at our company that was actually responsible for this. So it was just a thing where it's like, hey, internet shit happens, especially in this space. Like, I mean, we have the most bizarre things that happen all the time. Like even myself, I had the Terry Rozier thing happen a month ago, which I know you guys talked about on the show as well. Like we did
bring you on to talk about the Terry Rozier thing, but did bring you on to discuss the porno popping up on Get Playback. We run a great operation.
One scandal at a time, which by the way, also just because I thought it would be funny, I did also activate a promo code for this show. So if anybody does want to sign up for Odd Shopper, if you use the promo code scandal, you get yourself 20% off. I had a feeling that you guys would
now we figured out how Greg was allowed to do this show. As long as he also got in the promo code, he could talk about the gay porn.
I wonder if they workshop the promo code, because scandal, I thought you'd go with something a little more risque to,
Schlong.
Yeah, who knows? Gay porn for 10% off or something. I mean, we're probably getting to the point where he has to just tell us, but it wasn't malicious. I want to know if it was it like a malicious thing.
Well, I don't know. You could unmaliciously change somebody's avatar to Hitler and throw porn on the screen. Like, I don't know. There's an unmalicious way to do that.
There could have like wires got crossed somehow. That
happened in the video as well.
To your point, Brian, the Hitler thing is where it like, if you were just pranking some buddies, you could do the gay porn thing. The Hitler thing is where you're taking it a bit far, where you're trying to actually sully their good name. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. There are just crazy. You could think of crazy circumstances where it's not.
Mike thinks after the promo code that the marketing theory is starting to have legs. Like it seemed like you might have had this promo code planned for months. The way you just delivered that ad read, Greg.
So I will say that after I was done panicking about it and everything kind of settled down, then I immediately flipped where it's like, how could I turn this into a positive? So that was my reaction afterwards. It was like, okay, what can we do to, number one, make people feel better about what happened? I thought people might be really upset. That didn't really end up being the case. Like there were some individual people that were, but also like I set up a promo code for Live Before Lock the next day where we did promo code hacked for 69% off packages, and people thought that was really funny. We're into that. So I did make it a marketing afterwards.
This is the guy who I found was mad. At the end of his posts, he said, he seems like he lost all faith in you guys. He says, I lost trust in Stokastic, a company I valued and recommended to others. Like what? Yeah, it's all fun and bits to you, Greg, but look in Steven Spielberg's face. Look him in the eyes and tell him how sorry
he was the actor in the video. He was the
that
actor.
Sounds like a perfect gay porn name.
The guy's name is Steven Spielberg, and he's here up on his moral soapbox.
Yeah, he was the actor in the second video. He was they don't call him Spielberg for nothing.
What you don't understand, Pete, is he's complaining that they turned it off. Right?
It was like 30 minutes. That's not enough time. I need at least 50 minutes.
He valued the company while it was on, is what he was trying to get.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm starting to now want to know.
Would you say you have blue balls, Pete?
Who was it? Who did this to you guys, Greg?
All right. So the reality is I don't actually know who did it.
Ah.
But I'll tell you what ended up happening. Like the actual story of what happened.
Yeah.
So we have a longtime producer who worked with us. He recently went and he left the space. He's going to pursue other opportunities. He's going to work with his dad. He's going to travel for the summer. So, and also it's Jordan Klein, who our audience is really fond of, and he's really well liked within our community, within our channel. And he's frequently in playback, chats with people. And what happens is Jordan shows up, or who I thought was Jordan, because it is very easy to imitate somebody within playback. So I found out afterwards what happened. Somebody made a Jordan Klein fake account, but instead of it being Klein, they made the L a capital I. So I didn't know that. I didn't know the difference. Like I just thought it was Jordan in chat, and he's just being himself in chat. Like this was somebody who was familiar with the show. So I figured it's a troll who just was, like what you said before, probably somebody was upset with advice, or I beat him in a contest or something, probably something along those lines. So somebody makes a fake account of Jordan, and they're in chat and just being friendly, like, hey guys, what's up? Nice to see you. And people like, hey Jordan, and it's like all fire emojis and stuff, and just being friendly, chatting with people. And then he's like, hey, I want to say hi. Can I come on the show? And people could request to join the stage. And I want to be a welcome. Also, I'm friends with Jordan. I still text him regularly and whatnot. So I want to be welcoming. I'd be like, I'll just give him his credentials back. He can invite himself on stage. No big deal. This was my fault. This is where it went wrong. This was somebody who, this was their goal the entire time and completely played me. So what happens is once I give him the credentials to invite himself on screen, that's when Josh gets booted, I get booted, the channel becomes Hitler, porn starts playing, gay porn starts playing. So I was the idiot here. I got played. And that was also part of the reason why I felt bad and I was panicking, because I realized at first I was like, oh, we just got hacked. I didn't even realize that it was a fake Jordan at first. Like I just thought that was a coincidence. Then when I reached out to my playback guy and he said, did you give anybody access recently that you shouldn't have? And I didn't think so. And then he was like, well, there was this person who has a impersonation, it appears, of Jordan, who was given access recently. And that was when I kind of figured out what it was that had happened. And this was all within like a few minutes span. So that was the actual story of how the channel, like it wasn't actually hacked as much as I gave somebody access unknowingly that I shouldn't have.
Have you asked yourself why Spags would do this?
So it is interesting that this is, I mean, the only way someone's able to pull this off is if they are intimately familiar with the Stokastic universe. I mean, to know a producer's name, to be able to impersonate this, I mean, this is a crime of close proximity. I mean, I'm thinking this is a sub of multiple years. Have you guys started to try to, was playback able to give you an IP address? Are we doing some like geolocation doxing? Are you guys trying to bring justice to this individual?
Nah, it's just, hey, you won this. You won. What am I? Well, I'm saying he. I guess it could be a lady. I find that to be very, very unlikely for multiple reasons. Especially if you just look at the demographics in our space, where it's like 99.9% of our followers are men. But no, he won. I lost. He won up me. It was fair play. It wasn't even it wasn't an actual hack where they uncovered a password. This is just somebody who took advantage of a friendly idiot on the internet.
Wow. And this crime was so good that it wouldn't have been out of the ordinary for Jordan, it sounds like, to ask you for why would he have needed the credentials? Was he going to hop on the show?
Yeah. So he wouldn't have needed them to get on the stream. Like I could have invited him on, but he requested to join, and I just thought it was a friendly thing to do. I was like, I'll just give it to him so he could invite himself on at his own leisure. Like he doesn't need me to invite him in. It's like doors open door policy for my friends.
Wow.
Well, I'm trying to figure out. So first of all, this guy also has a lot of time on his hands to just do, like, who's gonna fucking do all this, unless they really, really hate you. the Hitler thing. Where did he like have a screenshot of something, and then he switched from that screenshot to a porn and then to a gay porn? Like, was he manually switching stuff?
Yeah, so he uploaded an image. There's like a banner on the playback channel. That was what he had changed to the former Fuhrer. And then in the actual playback channel itself, that's where he just went and did a screen share and just screen shared like, Pornhub or whatever site he went to.
See, and there's another meta element to this, right? Where you have a person impersonating a producer who actually seems to have some production-like skills, adding a banner, like some level of technical acumen. I mean, I've been in Get Playback before, like, I don't know. Sure, it's fairly intuitive, but you got to kind of know your way around in there a little bit. I don't know, Brian. It sounds to me like this person might be closer than we even think to all of this.
Well, here's what ChatGPT thinks. Pete, do you want to share this really quick? So I asked ChatGPT. You can barely see it. I don't know.
Zoom in. There you go.
Better. So the most likely scammers, fishers. That's not it. Competition sabotage is number 2.
Brian.
Okay. Disgruntled insider, random cyber criminals, state-sponsored or advanced group. Now, that one didn't cross my mind, but I think is a distinct possibility.
This is like the most Brian thing ever. One, pulling up ChatGPT and something involving state-sponsored. I guess my wheels were just turning that this person, it does feel like someone who might have wanted a job as a producer at Stokastic or like was on the fringes. They seem very close to the situation is all I'm inferring.
Could be. I mean, I also see Emacs in the chat right now. And by the way, Emac, the reason that you don't have your playback permissions back, there are multiple bots of you in the chat too. And I had no clue which one was the real you and the fake you. So because I didn't want to fall for the same thing twice in the same week, I haven't given your access back. So we'll figure out a way to get it back.
Greg now to like invite people on the stream has to do the Reddit AMA thing where you have to get like a photo of today's newspaper and like, verify yourself.
More or less. So for Josh to get it back, for him to do the deep dive yesterday, I said, here's what you have to do. You have to say hi as I text you, and then I know to go to that account and activate it. I'm not taking any chances anymore.
I like it. You guys are really using this as a teaching moment for kind of Stokastic, security practices. I think you guys are going to come out of this stronger. That's impressive.
I think it's gotta be an ex-employee. Or not gotta be. State sponsors number 1, but after that, I think it's got to be an ex-employee.
Do you guys have any producers that had been maybe unceremoniously let go in the past 6 to 12 months?
It doesn't have to be a producer, though. Just someone who knows that Greg will fall for a Jordan Klein.
Maybe someone who went on to become the oldest person to ever stream all 150 Best Ball Mania drafts. Neil has been talking about, he's trying to get more views on YouTube and stuff. He's sitting there watching. You guys have 1,200 live concurrents on playback. He's just seething with jealousy, sweating.
Big history buff, big World War II guy, that Neil Orfield.
He does look like a high school history teacher. If we put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, and look, and now he's admitting to it. They had it coming. Well, Greg, I feel it was great to get the full story. I do still feel like it would be nice if we could bring this person to justice. I mean, a lot of times you'll see crimes like this. They want the validation for having committed it. Like they'll actually try to kind of give themselves up a little bit because they want the attention for, hey, that was me that got the porn on there. Are there anyone who was kind of celebrating it that could be a culprit?
Celebrate. There are hundreds of people who thought it was hilarious, if that counts as celebrating it.
Yeah, one of them right here. They could look at IPs and then because he's almost definitely coming back to the scene of the crime, I'm sure, and he's going to be on there on a different account. So I wonder if they could get him that way. Seems like to me that an ex-employee is definitely the highest likely perpetrator.
Greg, you're a creative guy. If you could hijack, say a similar DFS sites, stream equivalent, what would be your go-to to kind of really stick it to them? Because to me, the gay porn thing is like 13-year-old boy energy of like, that's what I find funny. Like, imagine like pre-producing like some style spoof that was like, Stokastic has gone bankrupt, and unfortunately, everyone will not be getting refunds on anything going forward. Like, you had this ad that would have terrified Stokastic. It would have been a far more insidious prank if it was just a little more heady. What would you have done if you could hack into a competitor's site?
Good pun, by the way. Good pun. Calling it heady. Boy, it's a good question. I haven't put all that much thought into it. I would think, though, if I'm doing something like that, it would be probably more along the lines of what you said. I'm doing something to actually get some sort of benefit out of it, like, because this person didn't gain anything, right? This person, almost certainly incel loser on the internet who had no friends before, still has no friends. They don't have anybody to tell that they did this.
They have one friend.
They could just kind of chuckle to themselves about it. If I was to do it, I'd probably do something more along the lines of like, hey, we're not in operation anymore. Go unsubscribe to the channel. Go somewhere else. This isn't where you're going to get your DFS content from anymore. These are some people you could follow to get better information from. And I'd throw them off the scent too. All different contacts from different sites. We throw some independent people. You get like a Saber, some guy, Run Pure, maybe Brian. You get a whole different list of people, and then they don't even know. There's no way to know because like they promoted every site but ours.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, like I think maybe an announcement that Run Pure Sports has acquired Stokastic, fired the entire staff, and they're going to actually just be recommending the good place to the subs.
No, that would just raise the subscription level. What about this? What about this theory? I could think of only one Stokastic employee who has revealed his porn search history in the URL bar live on air.
Wait, somebody did that?
Who was it?
You weren't even working there, I don't think, at the time.
Who was it?
It might have been the founder of the company, one of the greatest DFS players of all time.
I forgot. I remember that story.
His face got beat red because it was one of his first like live streaming on his own. He has no producer, and he's just searching for like popcorn machine in the bar in the in the URL, and it's PO. And then search history comes up.
Wow.
The amount of subs over the years or DFS players that have asked me questions about building lineups, and they send me a picture of their browser and there's a porn tab that's open as well. It has happened so many times over the
Not
years.
as a bit, because that's like a good bit. Like if you're like, check out this screenshot and it's like 19
100% real thing where it's like, guy sends me this, guy says like, hey, I'm having trouble using the Sims or whatever, and just shows me his browser, and it's like it's just he's got projections on one tab, he's got like Sims on another tab, and then it's just like Brazilian model like takes BBC like on another tab. That has happened so many times over the years.
Do you ever respond? The reason you're having trouble using the Sims is because you are highly distracted while using them.
I used to call people out on it, and I would just make a joke and be like, "Hey man, check the tabs you have open in the screenshot you sent me or whatever." And now I just ignore it because it's just become something that happens like once a month or so.
God, what does that say about the typical DFS player? I mean, one, that they just are like treating DFS like as the same like entertainment vehicle as their porn, and also that they're just completely shameless in being able to send that over to you. Man,
I think industry. It might be the youth of America, Pete, not just DFS players. I love the idea of like, I can't close this porn tab out. Like, this is so good. I got to save it, leave it open, email Greg, and get back to this is a real good part. It's my favorite part.
That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, I think it was was on the Swolecast the other day, and Kitchen was sharing like his perplexity. It was one of his AI sites he was using. And then I started reading off his search history over on the column, and he got real sheepish for a second and took it off screen because he, like, for a second, he was like, shit, have I asked this AI engine anything, perverse that I wouldn't want Peter to reveal right now? Oh, man.
That's unfair, too, though, because I asked ChatGPT some crazy fucking shit.
I would be horrified to see what kind of shit you said.
Yeah. So like, and it's nothing like you might ask it like a news story. Did this ever happen or something like that? It's like,
now I want to see Brian's ChatGPT history from Monday night. I want to see if he asked it, how do I get into somebody's playback channel?
Ooh, yeah.
Well, here, the day before it was good Hitler memes. Send me good the day after that was.
What do you think was the thought process of starting with hetero porn and then moving to gay porn? Do you think that was an artistic choice, or they were just so thrilled to have gotten the account that they just like blasted off and then settled in and thought about a programming shift? How do you think that sausage got made, so to speak?
Yeah, if I had to guess there, I'm going to say that that's somebody who's like, I'm going to get them really into what they think they're looking for, and then just as they're about to finish, I'm going to mix it up on them, and then they're going to question their sexuality for the rest of their life. That's probably what I think the thought process was.
Yeah, that's just like a F you. That could like signal motivation where he's just like, I hate all of you, even people watching this. So I wonder if like someone like, maybe the people didn't like him or didn't defend him after he got let go or something. So it's an FU to not only Stokastic, but people watching.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at my ChatGPT history. It's fucking hilarious.
read us one.
I'll just read the latest one. So World War II sailors and squid, nerdy tenor lookalike question.
Well, World War II is tied into this.
Sacramento MILB park factors. So we have a video. Pete hooked us up with a editor, and he's making a video for us, and he's doing like little characters, and he sent a caricature of Yuta, and I don't want to send it, but I sent it over to the guys. I'm like, what do you think of this? And I knew they wouldn't like it because it looked like just like Mao Zedong. For people who don't know, the communist dictator who killed millions of people. And so then that spurred what dictator do I look like? What dictator does Adam look like? And what dictator Nerdy looked like? And so Adam got Fidel Castro.
Okay.
This is from ChatGPT.
All right.
If you get like the black and white, if you get the black and white of Fidel Castro, it's more convincing. Mine was Trotsky, and Dan's was Nikita Khrushchev, which is not even close at all. But if you look at a young Nikita, it's kind of. Anyway,
I was gonna say Dan probably. I mean, Dan has this kind of almost like timeless look. Like if I saw a black and white photo of Dan, I could be like, this is like a man who grew up in like Austria in the 1920s. Like I could see that vibe from him.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I just did UP. He's going with King Louis the 16th.
Okay.
Not exactly a dictator.
Yeah, I was about to say King. That's not. Does that doesn't work as a dictator though?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Not exactly a dictator. XV1 is 16, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. I don't like this comp. You guys get who's the sexy? Everyone always likes getting comped to Stalin, right? It's the young Stalin photos. He's always looking nice and dapper.
Yeah, young Stalin's a good looking dude. Who else is good looking? What's his name? The Czars. Some of the Czars were good looking. There's a lot of inbreeding there, so.
Yeah, I just want to point out. Let me.
Oh my God, Greg. Not good. Oh, whoa, wow. Oh, I gotta share this one when you.
Yeah, I just I don't know how much I like this comp of
Oh,
Louis
no.
the 16th.
Oh no! Well, first off, this could also be George Washington. This is
His
AI
lips are way too big.
We are so far away from the singularity. If this is my comp, I'm not.
When they talk about Terminator 2,
Fuck off, Neil.
Oh my god, that is so bad. What about do a young? What was it, Louis the 16th or whatever it was? So you know how ChatGPT, I'm sure most of them do this. Sometimes they'll give you two responses, right? And they go, which one do you prefer?
Now I look really effeminate.
Okay, but that's not nearly as bad. The nose is way too big, though.
All right.
These ones aren't very good in my opinion. I'm not being biased because I got compared to an ogre. These are not good comparisons.
Wait. How do you know you got compared to an ogre?
Wasn't that what you were saying before? Was that not my comp before?
No. Well, I just did your comp right now.
What is it?
I gotta share it.
Okay.
Who I said Adam. No, Adam got Castro. Nerdy Tenor got Khrushchev, but old Khrushchev is pretty damn ugly. And Yuta got Mao Zedong. This is you know how ChatGPT sometimes gives you, do you prefer this question or? So I know what Greg's gonna pick.
Oh, all right.
I know what Greg's gonna pick. First one is Kim Jong-un.
Okay.
Kim
all right.
Jong-un.
Second one is younger Joseph Stalin.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
I would say
you're definitely picking Kim Jong-un, I'm assuming.
100%. Also, because I really enjoy Kim Jong-un's stories. If you've ever read the stories of Kim Jong-un, where it's stuff like he went and played golf and he claimed to shoot the first time he played golf, he claimed to shoot the lowest score in the history of golf. He had 13 hole-in-ones or something like that. Then immediately, as soon as the round ended, he had everybody who watched him play golf assassinated. So you just know exactly what happened. He had never played golf before. It's obviously very difficult to play golf if you never had. He's for sure not athletic in any kind of way. And he just assumed he was going to be great at it. It didn't go as he expected. And he was like, well, everybody who saw this now has to be killed immediately. And then he came out of it and was like, good news. I got 13 hole-in-ones today. So I want to be Kim Jong-un.
Right.
I also loved, there was the descriptions at the end of those responses, Brian, that was like, all in good fun, smiley face emoji. It's wired into the AI is just having to soften comps to dictators.
Yeah. They don't like, sometimes you got to drag answers out of them when you do stuff like that. That could be considered rude and malicious. It's whatever, just pretend.
Goodness. Yeah, Greg, I do feel like it would be a mistake having you on and not circling back a little bit to the Terry Rozier stuff. I mean,
sure.
Had you ever had anything content-wise that you've done that has gone as viral as that moment?
Yeah. So I had last year within our space, no. Outside of our space, yes, because my brother had won a Topps redemption for a piece of memorabilia from an all-star caliber player. And it was all supposed to be a surprise what he ended up getting. And my brother had not received anything from Topps in a really long time. So we kept pushing them. Send me something. I've got this redemption. Because it could be something really valuable worth thousands and thousands of dollars, depending on what the player is and what the piece of memorabilia is. And you don't know. It's just, it's an all-star caliber player. It's a piece of game-worn memorabilia. And it's authenticated. That's all they know. So my brother's away. It gets shipped to him. And my brother and I own a house together. So I'm at home. My brother's away. It comes in the mail. And my brother's like, all right, FaceTime me. Let's open it together and see what it is. So open it up. And keep in mind, this was about a year ago. So I don't know if you guys know who this player is, but you'll understand the story once we open it up. So open it up. It is a piece of game-worn pants from Wander Franco.
The shortstop from the Rays?
who got kicked out of the MLB and is on like the run from law enforcement because he had a relationship with like a 13-year-old. So my conspiracy theory is that he had this deal with Topps, and this was a piece of evidence in the case, and this was how he got rid of it. So I posted the pants and the story to Twitter, and they tweeted like 6 million impressions, to the point where Topps reached out to my brother to ask what they could do to make the situation correct. And they actually they gave him a replacement. They had him send it back in, and they gave him like $1,000 in store credit. So like that's what I've posted that's gotten the most traction. But I think Terry Rozier is the second most.
Incredible. And for the people who don't remember the Terry Rozier thing, it was what, a tweet from a couple years ago from you?
Yeah.
Got recirculated.
Yeah. So starting at the beginning of this and adding some context to it is I very frequently troll people on Twitter. And one of the ways I really like to troll people is if players leave a game early with an injury, and if I have a bet on the under, because our data and tools recommends way more unders than overs. So this is something that like conveniently happens a good amount of time where a key player gets ruled out or hurt during a game. A lot of people bet the overs and they go, this is rigged. They get really upset about it. And then I'll reply to them with a screenshot of my winning bet slip of the under, and I'll pretend like I knew something. I have some sort of inside information. I got tipped off, something along those lines. So what happens with Terry Rozier is he ends up getting investigated because he leaves a game early with an injury. And it turns out that when Jonte Porter, if you guys know the Jonte Porter story, another NBA player who's now been kicked out of the NBA because he was betting on his own games, Jonte Porter and the people he worked with, they found out had bet unders on Terry Rozier in that game that he left early. Now, the game that Terry Rozier left early is the exact same game that I had tweeted at somebody with a picture of my winning screenshot and said, good thing I had inside information that he was going to leave the game early. So what ends up happening is I'm just minding my business. I see the Terry Rozier story. I don't think too much of it. I just see that he's in the news and he's being indicted in this thing. And it's like, okay, whatever. And I start getting text messages and my phone starts blowing up and people are like, your Twitter's hilarious right now. And I have no clue what this could possibly be. Like I was busy for the day. I hadn't been online. I go to open up my phone. I have so many notifications. I can't even get Twitter to load. Like it keeps crashing on my phone. And then I go to the desktop version of the site. I check my notifications and see that this Terry Rozier tweet that I have from 2 years ago, people were doing a search for Terry Rozier and found the tweet. And they're like, this guy knows something. And then all of a sudden, like Haralabob is tweeting about it. Worldwide Wob is tweeting about it also. So then it's way outside my control. Like mainstream media, it's Fox, CBS, the New York Post. I live in New Jersey, so like the New York Post had an article about me or like referenced me in it the next day. So it was everywhere, the Terry Rozier story, and only one reporter reached out to me. Only one reporter. That was David Payne Purdom of ESPN.
Yes, he's who interviewed me for the NFFC scandal. He's the one good reporter out there.
He's the only reputable reporter. The absolute only one in the space. Everybody else is trash at their jobs. And people took my tweets and pretended they interviewed me and they had statements from me. Like there was
weird.
The funniest one, like some of them just referenced like from Greg Ehrenberg's Twitter, and they had the tweet, all right, they didn't actually reach out to me, but I think that's probably fair play to just pull up that tweet and include it as part of the story. There was one, I think it was the Daily Mail, somebody had sent to me. They had posted something where it just said Greg Ehrenberg, and then they just had quotes for me that like I knew that he was going to leave in the second quarter. They don't even say it was from Twitter. They don't say that they didn't interview me. They imply that they interview me in the way that they covered it. But the other thing I thought was really funny about the Daily Mail one is they used a picture of me, but it's my Twitter avatar. So it's me with the fake Photoshop sunglasses on me. So they have that as a picture of me with all these quotes that are just like tweets I had trolling people that they're pretending were statements.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I will say that day when it was all happening, I was like, I saw your tweeting, your old tweets get retweeted, and it did take me a second. I was like, was there some inside info that was going around.
Yeah.
Maybe Greg knew and I didn't, or something.
We pulled it up on Lulz as it was happening,
Yeah.
and both of us were fairly disoriented with it because you're like looking at the timestamps and you're like, this seems too precise to be random. It is like truly how it felt at the time, which it's just the most hilarious coincidence.
Yeah. It was a great few days for me. I had so much fun with it online, and I had so many people mad at me. Like, so when you asked me to tie this back into the thing from the top and the scandal, bring it up one more time. Don't forget 20% off Odd Shop for anyone who wants to sign up with that promo code scandal. So to tie it back into that, when you had asked me, is there anybody who could have potentially been mad at you? I had insane DMs of people who thought like I directly stole money from them, where people were just like, and also tying it into the playback thing, like a lot of anti-Semitic messages too, where people are like, I know what you're up to, Jew. You're stealing my money. And it's like, because I bet an under on Terry Rozier, somehow that means I stole your money. So like there was a lot of people who were really upset with me, and it could be anybody who's like within that vein who just is upset.
Greg, I told you I'm sorry already about that. So how many times?
Someone was so upset that they've been stewing on this for the past 4 or 5 months, and they're like, what is the perfect way to get Greg back?
It all
Who
comes
is a
together.
producer close to him who I could impersonate and steal the login and then display a smattering of various porn on his stream as the ultimate takedown.
Terry fucking Rozier, baby. Was he playing that night?
That's I mean, he doesn't play much. He certainly doesn't play well anymore.
Oh, now you're gonna get another gay porn attack.
What are the do you check out any of these? Have you seen the Twitter Spaces? I think they're hosted by this guy Elf, really taken off in the sports betting community. You check those out at all?
So I'm aware of them. If you're in our sphere at all, it's impossible to avoid them. Like, you're just going to, by osmosis, you're going to see them. You're going to know they exist. It's not for me. Like, this is the part of sports betting, and I don't have an issue with him. I think he seems like a really nice guy. I've DM'd with him before. I sent him contact information for Vegas Dave. I tried to get him to reach out to Vegas Dave to get him on the Spaces.
Yeah.
So I figured you guys would appreciate that. I don't have an issue with him or anything like that. The Spaces are very much not for me, and it encompasses a lot of the things I do not like about this space.
Yeah, it's I can't like speak on it in that I have not listened to a second of the Spaces. I do think it speaks to, you know, how like, so sports betting taking off, like everybody goes and gets like their picks from somewhere or whatever. Like, they're all engaging with sports betting on like one level, but there isn't like really like a greater community around sports betting. I mean, we've talked about the Seville guys. They're more the like holier than thou stuff. I do think the concept of him like creating more of this like water cooler community around sports betting, but it is just like the lowest common denominator, like two people who hate each other. It's like Jerry Springer for like sports betting, where they just go on and like yell at each other and threaten to fight. But it is pretty crazy, like how many people want to consume that type of content.
It's also crazy to me how much of it parallels a point in time in the DFS space. Like, all of these things happen in DFS at one point. Boxing matches. Like as soon as I saw there was a point where, when he was doing the space and things were heating up, I was like, I wonder if we're going to start seeing the fake boxing matches happen. The difference is a boxing match actually happened. It didn't end up being a fake one, but there are a lot of things that happen there that kind of mirror other parts. Even the push-up they did a push-up contest. Like, there's so many things that happened in the DFS space that are now happening on the space, which I find is a kind of funny parallel.
Which happened in the poker space before the DFS space. Same thing. Fights, everything, same thing.
Yeah. It's funny too. You think about like how the beefs arise in DFS or compared to the sports betting ones, where it's like so much of the sports betting stuff, I feel like everything boils down to, are you a scammer or not a scammer? You know, like, you think about poker, right? Like, the equivalent in poker was like heads up for rolls. You're talking shit, I'm talking shit. Let's fucking put it on the felt and see who's the better player. I like everything in sports betting is just like, you're fucking scamming people. And then it's like, no, you're fucking scamming people. It's like, how many times can we do the scamming thing over and over?
Well, the thing is, they almost all of them in that like ecosystem are scammers. They're not all of them, but the vast majority of them are, and they're just calling each other out on the same things that they're doing also.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of
I did catch
hypocrisy.
one of them, Pete. I know you said you didn't even listen to a second. I listened to like 15 minutes of one. The one was Spanky, where one guy. So that elf guy is kind of like the unbiased moderator.
Yeah, the host.
I didn't know if you knew the format. So like,
yeah,
he hosts, and it seems like and he tries to be nice. So he'll have our girl Taylor. And he'll be nice to her and stuff like that, and which I think it's a good idea for.
Of course,
like, why would she come on if you're going to be rude to her? And anyways, and so he had Spanky, and the guy accusing Spanky of being a snitch when he got like busted back in the day. And like I listened to like 10-15 minutes, and it was pretty clear the guy accusing Spanky of being a snitch like didn't know how the law works or have any of his facts right. And it was really, and like at that point, like I kind of wanted some moderation, to like be like, okay, so will you like answer the question, what is it you're claiming? And so like, I don't know, it looked pretty bad for him from my point of view, but since there's no actual guy to put a judge to like put the, his finger on the situation, it kind of was just like, fuck you. But Spanky like was clearly going like that's a civil case. Civil's different than criminal. Like I'm pretty sure this dude had no idea that there's a difference between a criminal court and a civil court.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect the bar for intellectual discourse to be super high on those spaces. I do think, I guess what's interesting to me about it is, again, more back to like, I guess you could call it like the barstoolification of like sports betting, where ultimately, yes, people want like picks or whatever, but they just want to be entertained. And when you exist in a world, you enjoy interacting with it at like a reality TV show level. And he's basically created a space where like all these people can become even bigger, heightened versions of themselves, of their characters, of their avatars. And it just so happens that the way it always plays out is two people yelling "fuck you" at each other for the course of a few hours or whatever. But I do think it's just, we've always talked about that in DFS too, like with all the different things of like how we've wanted there not necessarily to be more boxing matches, but more things that lean to the like the lifestyle aspect of it, or more entertainment aspect of it, as opposed to just winning and playing DFS. Because as we've seen with DFS, like that can only take you so far as an industry. Like you need more stuff around it for people to want to like stick around and engage with it.
More porn on shows. That's what I've been saying.
You cracked the code. You cracked the code.
I wish too, Pete, is they would like. I mean, I guess this just shows that most of them are actually scammers, like Greg's saying, because they've probably never won a bet. Because when you do win a bunch of bets, a lot of times you get limited. And I wish that was just like a mantra that everyone in the sports betting community would like say all the time. Like we got to stop these companies from being allowed to just promote this way and then limit anyone who wins. Something like that, or outright cancel winning bets for unjustified reasons. You don't really hear that much, right? You hear, I'm guaranteeing this, 18-leg parlay, shit like that. Like if you're going to do that, at least advocate for something that'll help somebody who learns how to actually sports bet and make a few bucks at it.
And that's something is another reason why I have a distaste for the spaces is, as myself, somebody who's starting to do a lot of sports betting content now. And we're working on, like, I think we have exceptional tools at OddsShopper, and I think we're building really cool stuff over there. It's like we're putting all this effort into building stuff that is going to make people a lot of money if they use the tools, and it's going to help them become better sports bettors. But then the people who get the most attention in the space and people who are like killing it from a revenue standpoint with products, it's some of these people who are just complete morons that are scammers that are selling like nothing. And they just, I don't even know how some of these people end up with massive discords. Like it's confusing to me how some of these people grow such big audiences. Like a big part of it is like, I don't understand at all.
You're not alone.
I think it's because at the end of the day, they're like there's a lot of nuance, right? And a lot of strategic nuance to all of this stuff. And that requires learning. It requires explanations. It requires work, in the form of shopping around, like all of this stuff. None of that has mimetic quality, viral quality to it, right? The things that go viral are super simple. It's like you read one thing, you watch one thing, and you completely understand it. So the head's like pick culture. It's like, you tell me who to pick, they win. I bet that, easy game. Like, it requires no additional explanation. And so I think these people that just hammer that over and over again are maybe vaguely entertaining as a personality, and then they can just spread like wildfire because that's the lowest common denominator. And anything with nuance is never going to be able to get enough traction to be able to at least balance out like what actually is representative of, good sports betting content.
I think some of these people are so stupid too that they don't even know that they're losing sports bettors. Some of them I think know that they're kind of running some sort of scam. I think there's also a lot of people who think it's not possible to beat sports betting, and they think they're just selling a community where it's like, hey, we kind of sweat stuff and hang out together. But I think there's other people too who are losing sports bettors, but they're so disorganized in their lives where they're like, oh, I won a big parlay, I'm going to take a bunch of the money out. And then it's like, oh, I went down to zero, I got to put a bunch of money back in. And they're like, now I got to transfer money from my FanDuel account to my DraftKings account. And they're so disorganized that they honestly have no clue whether they're down or up for the year. But because they watch sports and they feel like they're knowledgeable, they just assume because they've won some big parlays, they must be profitable. And then people tail them in like their package. So they go, but look, I have these followers, I must be profitable. I do think there's some of these people who aren't even aware that they're losing when they're betting.
Yeah, it's a kind of the DFS cycle again, Greg, right? Like someone wins $1 million and starts a site. Same thing. Like, I won $1 million though. It's like, yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You mentioned the community one. I think that one's definitely like totally moral and fine. Like, if you like someone because they're good at a video game or something, and then their Discord they talk about betting and like, we're gonna do High Point plus 7.5 tonight because I've never heard of that school and I think it's funny, which is why I bet them today. So, and they have hot cheerleaders or whatever. Like, it's like whatever. It's just 100 bros hanging out in Discord, making a bet for entertainment. Who cares?
Yeah, and then same, like there's a lot of people who get really upset at somebody like Taylor Mathis. Like, she seems like a nice person to me. I don't know her. I don't think she had like the crypto thing that happened. But I think she probably just most likely just didn't understand what it was or what was going on. Like, people get really bitter about her. I think that's mostly jealousy. Like, I don't think that she's intentionally doing anything to, hurt people in any kind of way. So there's a lot of people who maybe aren't doing content in the same way that I'm doing it, or that Pete or Brian, you guys might be doing it, that I don't take issue with. But the people I really dislike, it's just like the people who are like just clear scammers, who are lying about results, running fake giveaways to try to drive engagements. Like, there are certain things people are doing that I don't think it would get sports betting, like shut down. I don't think that's the most likely outcome. But if it ever was to get shut down, it would be probably because something like that would play a role in it.
It's so much harder obviously over the evolution of DFS, people have tried, to be DFS scammers, but man, it is so much harder to fake it in DFS, right? Like, you could even have 450 entries, 700 entries, multi-accounting, just trying to get that bink. And it's like, you still kind of have to be able to be good and be able to make winning lineups to continually show proof of being successful. Where sports betting, I feel like the shell games and stuff that you can play to make it look like you're more successful is just so much easier, which then invites way more scammers to kind of come cosplay in that space.
Well, the other thing too with DFS, which like the average person isn't going to know how to do this or how to get the information, the CSVs are all available on DraftKings. If you wanted to find out if somebody's been good, like we have post-contest sims on our site at Stokastic. If somebody wanted to look me up, they could pull up all the contests that I've been in for the year, and they could just see my results in those. In something like sports betting, if you don't have a picket and you aren't publicly tracking your bets in any kind of way, you could just say whatever the hell you want about your results, and it could be pretty hard for people to prove you wrong. So what Brian had said before, if you're somewhat reasonably smart and you're like, wait, you're betting $10,000 on player props. Then if you know the industry, you know that's not a profitable bettor. The average person is just going to see somebody place a $10,000 bet and go, well, this person must be killing it if they're betting that much money.
Yeah, I agree.
Brian, you were kind of like, as I was saying that, kind of lifting your eyebrows. Do you disagree?
I think it's pretty easy to be a fake DFS tout. I don't know. Like, you could kind of just pick a bunch of dudes. You know, if you pick, you know, on an NBA night, if you name 20 guys, like, you got yourself well covered, I think.
I guess what the 1-for-1 is, like, these people, like the types of scammers we're talking about are the ones selling picks of some source. Like, I'm trying to think, like, to get people subbing to your site, I guess you can fool people, like, with an infrastructure where it's like, we have all these shows and we have all of this stuff or whatever. But I don't know. It requires way more legwork than just, like, you can hit on 50% of your bets and, like, show these really nice screenshots of your winning bets and
you could do like a shitty tool that spits something out, but it doesn't actually spit anything good out. You know, shitty tool or whatever.
I'm sure there are a lot of sites that have projections for sports betting that don't track it publicly in any kind of way and just tell people this is really profitable when in reality it isn't. And people are buying, you know, not picks directly, but they're buying projections that they think are profitable. It's actually just a shitty projection system that's spitting out bets that aren't beating the VIG. I'm sure that's something that goes on at a bunch of different places. But yeah, also to what Brian said, there are definitely people who have done DFS content before who have not been winning DFS players, but people don't really know about it. Like somebody like myself or Brian, like, we know how to check if people have been building good lineups. You can check the actual results. You can check the simulated results, which is probably a pretty good indication. If you just look up a regular DFS player and their sim results on, you know, whatever sites have post-contest sims are, like, constantly negative, they're probably not a good DFS player.
Yeah, especially multiple sources or multiple sims.
And also now, like, you just think about, where does scammers gravitate, right? They gravitate to where there's opportunity. Right now, there's not a lot of opportunity for DFS scammers. Like, it would be pretty dumb and tough sledding of, like, I am going to cultivate a bunch of these idiots to subscribe to my DFS site, even though I don't know anything. Whereas, like, sports betting, it's just ample opportunity everywhere. And then you can double and triple dip, right? Because you get your affiliate links with the site. So you're converting people onto that, you're getting the kickback there, and then you're also selling the picks, and so and then on top of that, you're getting the social media clout, and you're getting in beefs, and so you're getting the dopamine over there. Like, it is an attractive spot right now for the scammers. Like, I can't blame them for wanting to be in that space.
Yeah, the DFS scammers now, it's the people who used to be lineup sellers that don't really exist. Like, that's not a practice that, at least I don't see it really exist in DFS anymore. It was really prominent a few years ago. Those are the people now who sell, like, prize picks cards. To me, like, that's the 1-for-1 equivalent. The people who previously would have been selling a DFS lineup now are like, here's my 3-leg prize pick slip. And they're just selling it to a Discord.
The Brick 75 Twitter handle is this, like, a lineup pick seller faking being me. And I couldn't get them banned. And, like, DraftKings emailed Twitter and stuff, and, like, there's all of them. There's an Osmo fake one, Chipotle Brothers fake one. That was way more popular. To me, kind of like parallels like the early 1900s, where, you know, it was after the industrial age, there was, like, a whole new world of, like, people selling elixirs that cure all your ills, you know, and all this kind of charlatan stuff.
Yeah.
And we're in this kind of new world of social media and the internet, new to, you know, the human race in terms of our entire existence. And I think right now, all you could do, first of all, I don't think it's going to be solved by legislation or anything like that. But even if you do think that, it's not there here now. And the only thing you could really do is just, like, who do you trust? Because you're not going to get into unless you're the guy who hacked Greg's stream, you're not going to get into the back end of Stokastic and then get all their code and test it and know what's going on there. And it's proprietary. They can't, like, give it away because someone could steal their business, right? Or Solver or whoever, you know, name your thing. So it's really all this stuff in sports betting, you know, advice is all the same way. it's going to be down to who you trust. And of course, there's always going to be a percent of dummies out there who are going to buy the Vegas Dave subs, and there's nothing you could do about it. But for people who watch this show and follow Greg, I'm sure the average IQ is probably about 180 there, somewhere maybe in the low 200s.
What about the 200 that kept watching the porn for 30 minutes when it popped up on the screen, just trying to get Jokic information? What IQ do they,
that's like autistic levels. It was like super high because he doesn't even see that going on. He's just waiting for that Jokic.
Laser focused on the NBA DFS value.
Yeah. He's like, is that Jokic's asshole? I don't get what they're saying.
What does this mean? What is this?
Are they speaking in metaphor?
Jr.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I get it. Okay, we're going Jokic tonight. We're definitely going Jokic.
Oh my God. Well, Greg, I appreciate you swinging by Lowell's. Yeah. So to let people know, and again, sorry for all these puns, how the sausage got made. I DM'd Greg last night because I was like, Brian and I are going to start talking about this. We don't even really know what happened, but we just know we have to talk about it. And I was like, Greg, will you make an official statement about this so I have something to work with? And you kindly offered to come on and explain it, which made this much, much better than Brian and I trying to guess. So thank you for that. And I enjoyed the little mystery that we were able to untangle along the way.
Yeah, and I told you this last night as well. I do, a ton of DFS content every day. I have pretty much no appetite to listen to other people's DFS content for that reason. It's like, why do I want to do what I do for work as also my hobby outside of it? So I very rarely listen to any DFS content, but I probably listen to 75% of the shows that you guys do. And there's no other content outside of my channel that I listen to or consume. So I was really excited to come on.
All right. Thank you.
I appreciate
You've been on the show at least one time before, I think, right?
No, I've never been on before.
Yeah, you have.
Really?
You were on an MMA stream at least.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. We did the MMA stream for what was the card? I remember Hamzat Chimaev fought Gilbert Burns.
Wow, look at your recall.
Wow.
Yeah, who else was on that card?
You just named two fighters.
Mackenzie Dern fought. I remember she was on the card.
Is this your party trick?
Was it
You have an
Holly Holm?
encyclopedic memory of every UFC card?
Was it
No,
Holly
just
Holm?
Brian brought it up. I didn't really consider a regular Lulz episode, but I did. I did the MMA watch along with you guys and John Kelly, and then RBX was on it as well.
Okay. Wow.
Right.
Our old friend.
He gave us a tour of his house, and I was fairly sure he was going to open something up and there's going to be a dead body somewhere.
Yeah.
But it didn't end up being. Yeah, didn't end up being the case. I haven't heard from RBX. I like RBX. I've heard it from.
I think we had a falling out with him.
He doesn't like us anymore.
He doesn't like us anymore.
I think I made a Trump joke or something, and he didn't. Now he hates me or something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
Oh no, I asked him about ETR, and then he called me an ETR butt buddy.
I do like the idea, Brian. To RBX, Brian would be the world's biggest liberal, and then to people who listen to Brian on the Take Cast with Davis, he's the world's biggest MAGA dude. Anyways, thank you again, Greg. Let the people know one more time the promo code Scandal.
Absolutely.
How long is that going to be live?
So I would do it just for the show, but I assume you guys probably get a good amount of views in post. So we'll leave it going for a couple of days and then I'll shut it off. But promo code Scandal, because Brian and Pete were nice enough to have me on here and it was fun chopping it up with them. So for everybody who watches Lulz, use that promo code Scandal. If you sign up at OddsShopper, get yourself 20% off. And everything we have on the site, if you guys follow, I do a bankroll thread on Twitter every day, which is just me kind of putting the tools in action to show somebody how it would work if they started with a lower dollar bankroll. So I started the NBA season with $100, and I've just been taking a handful of bet recommendations using the tools and the bet sizes, and that $100 is about $1,200 now. All the results that we have on the site, we publish everything, whether we're down or up in a market, no matter what the time frame is, it's all publicly available on the website. So we try to be as transparent as possible, which doesn't exist in a lot of other places in the space like we were talking about before. So if you guys want to check it out, promo code Scandal, 20% off. It also comes with a 7-day free trial because we believe in the product and we want to give people a chance to use it for free, and we think that people will like it and stick around.
There you go.
We
Check
have
it
someone
out.
with a gay porn name just signed up, it looks like, in chat there.
Brian, anything else for you going on over at the In-Game Syndicate?
No, we're trying to get a PGA show going, me, Davis, and Dan, but probably not for a couple weeks.
Okay. Yeah. What's the holdup?
Coding.
Okay. All right. I was going to say it's certainly not Davis's availability.
Dan doesn't want to do gay porn.
Dan doesn't want to do this.
It's like it's real hot right now, guy.
Yeah,
Get on board.
it is. You know, it is a copycat industry. I wouldn't be surprised to see some accidental whoopsie.
Ooh.
There's a dick on
That would be great if
screen.
that just happened right now on the show.
Yeah. Promo code bricked up for 50% off the In-Game Syndicate. All right, I'm heading over to do ship chasing. We're going to attempt to do a mock draft just for fantasy relevant players, but matching them up with NFL teams. If you want to come join us at 3 p.m. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you guys next time on Lulz every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, and you guys can always catch the audio versions in your podcast app of choice. Thanks again to Greg. Thanks again to all of you guys hanging out in the chat. We'll see you next time. Peace.